All right. Osiris says, hey, I honor benevolent energy that steps onto this live at any given point in time. If you end up seeing this later, I honor good-hearted, salt of the earth folks in this universe, beings in this universe. Okay, I specify because those of you who are they, okay, those of you who are they, I honor. Okay, so I'm addressing specifics. Okay, specific energy. Anywho, I'm gonna turn down the frequencies a little bit. I'm gonna do a combination video here real quick. I'm gonna try, y'all. I'm non-scripted. Okay, so that brings in, it's a good thing, but then it could also create a lot of rambling. Okay, a lot of just, you know what I'm saying, non-structure. I'm definitely unorthodox, stuff like that. So bear with me. If I'm not the content creator for you, guess what? That's okay. I'm sure you'll find something to your liking out there in the world of social media. Okay. So this video is going to talk about my personal experience and opinion on light beings, or if you want to say starseed earth angels, and as it pertains to occult practices, as it pertains to magic being done on them, and the process of their transcendence and their remembrance, and why their transcendence is fought with abusive occult practice, but why during these times they have to incorporate some of these various aspects that they knew from other timelines, or other planes of existences or whatever, in their bank, if you will, to aid them in the transcendence, because it's that the transcendence, when it's at full maturation, nothing can touch them. This is what terrifies the powers that be. Okay, this is why there's an onslaught of, the million hoe watch. Okay, the million hoe march. Okay, because, to steal their destiny, to attempt to hijack all of that, but to stop them from the transcendence, because then their energy manipulation won't even be able to touch them. Their energy, their sorcery, the abuse of occult practices slows down the earth angel starseed. And if you don't like that verbiage, I was trying to find ways to universalize it, if that's even a word, okay, in terms of soul essence or beings, okay, that are light years. They're light years ahead. It's not saying that they're superior. It's just the advancement, okay, and what they are to complete, or should I say put an end to, rather, because it's not the false light system that we came to know. Okay, I don't want to get too far off into that, because they came to finish it. They came to finish the bullshit. In other words, this ain't about a religion check-off box. This is finish the bullshit. Finish this karmic mimicry, reincarnation loop, trickery, copycat mimicry of the original bullshit. Okay, finish it. In other words, stop the cycle, and for themselves, but also anyone that would want to, that is trying to, whether that's someone in their own bloodline or any people that they may encounter. Okay, not out of force, not out of tyranny, not out of becoming some weirdo group, and now you got to pay homage and all, nothing like that. Okay, so that the occult practices, the sorcery, the magic, it works in part for a long time due to its secrecy. The light being earth angel starseed has no, their memory has been erased and everyone keeps it from them. Those who know about it keeps it from them, and in fact they convince them that there's something wrong with them and that they're just these broken, weak, feeble invalids. They don't tell them that there's occult practices that's interfering with their actual energy. They don't let them know anything to do with that. So that's a part of the power of the magic in the first place. A part of the power, I didn't say all, a part of the power is that it's a secret. A part of the power is that it's elusive, is that it's hidden. And so one is left to think it's just something wrong. If something is hidden from you, what are you left to think? If you don't have the access to any knowledge or information whatsoever about something that's happening to you, then what are you left to analyze? And they know that. So by reasoning deduction, natural reasoning deduction, you sit down and you go through these processes. So it's the greatest head fuck of all time, in my personal opinion. It's the most sadistic head fuck, but it is certainly the greatest head fuck of all time. To have somebody going through all these things and have them tricked under the illusion that there's actually something wrong with them due to the abuse of occult practices, that powers that be know full well about, but it is kept from the masses. As it pertains to the masses, it is made out to be some kind of hippie, hoopty doopy, hula, trickery, bullshit, wickery. It's made out to be something like that, fluky, airheady. It's also made out to be something like toxic because of what people's program has been. It's like, oh, that's, they can't tell the devil if a devil walked in front of them. But they'll say stuff like, ooh, but they kill people, they hoeing, they doing all, sorts of shit, detestable things to motherfuckers. But ooh, that's some of the devil. They drank all the Jack Daniels, bitch, and tore up some shit as a result, bitch. But then they wake up. Hey, and I ain't against, hey, to each his own lifestyle. I'm just simply saying that these be some of the folks that be going around talking about, ooh, it's like, nigga, didn't you just rob somebody yesterday, nigga? When I said that, I sound like Cat Williams. Hey, I can't help it. I have favorite comedians. There's comedians and there's, there's comedians and there's actors and actresses. I can't help it, okay? I've watched them for years, and I'm not, let me just throw this out here, I'm not trying to get no credit and take no, that's they shit, okay? They're the art. That ain't my vibe. That's a karmic vibe, okay? That ain't my vibe. I don't go around trying to sell and off somebody else's fucking identity. Somebody else's style, somebody else's investment. That ain't me. I just love these particular comedians and artists, and they are funny. And so I don't plan that. I just want to say that for the record. I don't have a script. I didn't plan before I came on camera, bitch. Okay, say this, bitch, and do the whole Cat Williams thing. Like I don't do that. Okay, stuff that makes me laugh about them, I'll do it and make myself laugh, and then I know that I'll end up making someone else laugh who ends up seeing the video. That's all that's about. Okay. So, cause he funny. I haven't seen anything he's done of his recent years. I'm just talking about, the old shit. He's funny. He's funny. Okay. And Kevin Hart, and who else do I imitate sometimes? Kevin Hart, Cat Williams, and Martin Martin. Okay, Martin and the Shanae character, and then then Eddie Murphy and the Rasputia character. Rasputia, no wait, Shanae goes doo doo doo. That's Shanae, and the Rasputia character goes, she be like, "How you doing?" Like she, and then wait, there's another character. I know I'm off track here, but look, I think I need to say it though for some reason. There's another character that I like on this show that I used to watch, The House of Pain, and I don't know the name of the actual actor, but he's the leading. He was at least the leading head guy. He's like the father, okay. And on the show, he be like, huh? He be like, huh? he sometimes he says stuff like, he be like, huh? You heard, huh? I think that's him. I could be wrong on that one, but it's the funniest thing ever. Oh my God, you heard. Okay, now let's get to the point. Okay, with all that being said, that was not a part of it. Okay. The light being, the earth angel, the star seed, the being of somebody with all full chakras available to them. They have all full chakras, and 7 are just the physical body, but they have all these chakra systems. They are connected to the higher realms, okay? And higher don't mean, it's not about evaluating worth. It's just frequency, okay? So, and they vibrate, or should I say their frequency. When I say vibrate, we're not talking about people who always seem to have a smile on their face. That's bullshit. Chances are it's a karmic. I'm just going to say that for the record. Okay? It's bullshit. So I'm not referencing anybody that's like, okay, they're always high, 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 up, 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 happy, happy, happy. That's misinformation. Just for the record. About vibration and frequency and resonance. Emotions, now that'd be more accurate, okay? But the full range of emotions, they experience all of it, but their natural origin, their thread, their resonant, the frequency. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody grabbing out come hell or high water. Trying to rob, steal, kill, destroy, fall. Okay? So, but a part of that is keeping them in the lower density of emotion. You see that? So, they're trying to. That's what their whole life is comprised of. They have been poisoned. They have been roofied. They have been violated in every way you can imagine. They've been poisoned in all sorts of ways, from the households in which they grew up, to people they end up hooking up with, to anything and everything in between. Restaurants they ended up going to, delivery services, and all of those things. Okay? Things with spells on them. Okay? So their life has been comprised of the abuse of occult practices on them from the beginning, just for the record. It ain't nothing new. All the new witches, whizzes, and warlocks involved have no clue. And we're talking some powerhouses, baby. Let me just make that clear. We're not just talking about somebody who's new and inspirational. No, we're talking about, they know who they are. They the big wigs, baby. You don't see them. Just for the record, you ain't seeing them. You're not getting a visual of them. Just to be clear. You don't see them. Those are the motherfuckers that's been practicing on the collective, on these earth angels and starseeds from the beginning, baby. Everybody else is just hired help. The collective, sometimes these TIs, these earth angels, they survive stuff, they surpass their expiration date that was forecasted based on all of the occult abuse, as well as the manufactured tragedies that was constructed for them, because it was. Okay, it was manufactured, just like Hollywood. The only difference is we ain't famous and we ain't got no money and shit. You know what I'm saying? We ain't famous and nobody care, bitch. You ain't gonna see it on TV. We ain't gonna hear no music cue or anything. That I got from Cat. Okay? Like I said, this is his old stuff. I don't know what Cat Williams is up to nowadays. This is his old stuff. He's on one of his, I think it was his Pimp Chronicles or Pimpadocious or bitch nigga. What was it? The Bomb Pit Pimp. Wait, what was it was Pimp Chronicles, Pimpadocious, or maybe I'm making up Pimpadocious. Maybe he didn't have no Pimpadocious. Anyway, on one of his things, he talks about I don't know if this is true or not, but I think he said he had gotten shot in one of his like stand-up things, and he was like, it's not like on TV. He was like, it ain't fun. He said TV make it look glamorous and like it's gonna be great and like you're gonna have all these people, you know, and like you're gonna be laying there. It's like he got shot and no bitches came out. There was no music, nothing, because that's real talk. It is not going to be when you're attacked or you're hurt. It's nothing like the movies. Like this is real for you. Okay. Likewise for us, the tragedies that have been constructed for us. There was no, we ain't famous. We're not getting all depressed. We're not getting all of this loose, having all these people create these platforms and, oh, we send our love, please be well. We ain't getting none of that, bitch. You know what I'm saying? We can't take no picture and look pitiful. You see what I'm saying? And be on there like, look at me being sick. I'm sick, bitch. You know what I'm saying? That they ain't gonna say, ain't nobody gonna care. Folks gonna be like, well, you know, karma. But some famous motherfuckers, they gonna be like, oh yeah, please, you know, all of our, you know, we just love, and so, you know. Anyway, let me get to the point. Myself included, there are many that surpassed all of the manufactured, got almost shot, slipping off of freeways, roller coasters. Actually, give me this. Let me do this real quick. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm gonna do something real quick. They do the spell work often also for folks like myself who are content creators. That's also designed as a distraction to do two things: to get us off focus, off topic, to discombobulate our energy, as well as to as their vengeance for doing it is they're taking advantage of the thread of communication with social media, the element of air, the airwaves, but also to come against our children in real time as we are doing these things. And this is what they have been persistently doing to my son and many others out there. And this is people that are on the property of Delta Manor in real time. As I went out, I took some license plates of individuals today. They're involved. Okay? The spell work, the sorcery, and the abuse of the occult practices, we surpassed it all. We've had crazy car accidents, poisoning, people physically assaulting us, attacking us, put in diverse situations over and over again. Like I said, my son almost was shot. I've almost was shot several times. We did slip off of a freeway. All kinds of weird, crazy, out of this world shit, if I were to tell you at all. Okay? Because they manufacture stuff in the physical as well as the spell work. So it's a combination effect. They're abusing the occult to discombobulate our energy, okay? To discombobulate that, but then as a result, hoping to compromise us and have us to compromise ourselves and to be in situations. You see how this works? Okay. So all of that hoping to wear down our defense and our protection, and hopefully essentially at some point either we die by way of the death magic or by way of the breaking down of ourselves and something that they manufactured, a car accident, a weird run-in with somebody, some kind of tragedy. Oops, it was some accidental poison in your food. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, they try to, violating like the place that you lay your head. So getting with the corruption there to put shit in your plumbing and in the vents and the HVAC and all of those things, mold, mildew, asbestos. And then they'll just sit back and wait and see when you're going to get sick and die so they can go ahead and get that ultimate. Never. Never. Okay? But that is what they do. Okay? And it slows us down. There are some, they do take out light beings. They have. They can and they have. But they can't do it all the time. It just depends. Now, it's a violation. Those that are in the occult practices, they know that. Those that are higher enough, let me rephrase that. Okay, I'm going to put it that way then. They know. They know what the rules are. They know whether they like them or not, and whether they adhere, that's a different story. I just said they know. They ain't actually supposed to be touching light ones. That's supposed to be off limits. Don't ask me why. I don't like the feeling of no. I'm not into the whole socialism. I don't know if that's the proper term. It's like I'm better than you, or I'm this, I'm special. I don't like that idea. Okay, me personally, I know some people love it. I don't, because it's like, so what are you saying? Because you think you're better, whatever you think you are, then that means everything and everybody else could be treated like shit because you think you're the shit? You know what I'm saying? I ain't with that. All I can say, though, is that it might have something, not so much of the better than, rather than the consciousness they have and their essence and purpose for being may have of supreme importance, whether people want it to be that or not. Okay? I'm saying it that way to be delicate because I'm not into the whole socialism. I think that's a part of what's wrong with humanity. I think that's a part of the problem of the matrix. Okay? This whole hierarchy. I'm better than you and I'm higher than you, so I could, I deserve more than you. I deserve my shit and yours. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like I'm not with that. I think that's detestable. Okay? They come in here with this, what they did. They're doing spells on mine, spells on theirs. The touch of my seed, their seed touched. Simple as that. Now back to the topic. In this case of the collective of earth angels and star seeds, it's a failure. Their time is over. And it's over for a couple of reasons. The time stamp, but not only that, we surpassed the time, but there's been work done. We've reached a certain level. We're still moving. We're still doing it. This is what they don't want, but it's already been attained. It's not going to, it's attained. It's manifest. It's manifest, okay? So now the magic, the stuff, it slows us down because it's still magic. It's still energy distortion work, abusing the occult. So there's still an effect, not the same magnitude. It can be tiring, but it's not the same as where it's like really gonna know. It's tiring. And then we have the support as these activations is happening where it'll step in and go like start like to. The best way I could say it is like to help to balance it or alchemize it. Like I said, it's what I'm experiencing in my resonance. That's a part of the frustration of all these people because that's what keeps happening. It keeps happening. They plummet. I said it on TikTok. I'm like, they do all of the spells. MK Ultra, MR Notra, all the Notras, all the shit, bitch. They do all the shit. They're doing all the spells, bitch. They're they're doing all the shit, bitch. It's all the shit. It's MK Ultra, MK Naomi, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now they know their ABCs, bitch. They're doing all the shit. This is why they would like to barricade us. This is why they manufacture the barricading. Because they know, especially when you get to a certain thing, they're like, man, this motherfucker finished. This nigga, you better. Yeah, and while we don't know about it, this is what works for them. Do you see where I'm going? When we are unaware, we, the earth angels or star seeds, whatever, we take it as just, oh, this is just misfortune. This ain't no misfortune. It's the occult. Ah! This is just, misfortune. Oh, I'm sick and weak. No, we ain't. We're actually the opposite. No, we're not. They wouldn't be having hundreds of people circling this goddamn building if that was the case. You don't need to circle the building for no weak motherfucker. That's basic logic, isn't it? I'm gonna let somebody chew on that for a while. For somebody weak, you can send in a newbie, one newbie, and you're done. You're all done. You're finished. That's it. You don't need nothing else. You don't need no supportive documents. You don't need to go down the street up down the road, Northwest Parkway, around the corner. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to do none of that. You don't need to do that. You don't need to get a reading. You don't need to go, online. You don't need to go TikTok and find somebody to help you do it. You don't need to do that. You don't need to call your aunt from Louisiana and Florida and everywhere else. You don't need to do none of that. if you're dealing with somebody that's dumb and weak. The fact that it takes this much to even slow us down speak volumes, in my opinion. It doesn't, it's not a reflection of, oh, we're not that motherfucker. It's a reflection of, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Because it takes all that just to slow us the fuck down. So, like I said, I don't have all the answers. I'm not claiming to be an expert. This is what I'm coming to believe. Like, this is why we then have to incorporate the occult. Because I believe once you transcend with the elements and do what some of the other ascended masters or the originals, human and non-human alike, okay, what they were able to do, I believe once you get there, you don't need it. I believe that that's the part, the Matrix, the first Matrix, bitch. There was a scene, and I know Amorphous was saying, because Neo was like, what you trying to say? That, you know what I'm saying, I could stop bullets and shit? Or I could, what did he say? I forget exactly what he said. And Morpheus was like, no, what I'm saying is, Nick, that once, that would have been the ghetto version of the Matrix. that once you know what I'm saying, realize, motherfucker, you won't have to. Oh, he said I can dodge bullets or something like that. Oh yeah, he was like, what you trying to say? I could dodge bullets or I could, you know, outrun bullets or something like that. He was like, no, I'm saying once you get there, you won't have to. So in other words, he could put up his hand and go, boo-doo, boo. Now, viewer discretion is advised. Please please don't, okay? Because then what if you're not even there and you're trying to go up there and put up your hand and you shot? Anyway, your ass is damn bitch. So, back to what I was saying. I do believe that that in part is something with that, because it's a mastery. It's basically the mastery of all elements. Okay, and all elements comprises of everything in this plane of existence and beyond. And if you're mastering, because that's what your life is, trying to remember your sovereignty and master, then you basically can do some other shit. The occult is those the powers that be, they know it and they use it for their advantage, no doubt. Okay. And in the interim, here's where I'm going. I believe that this is why we incorporate it, because we're trying to preserve ourselves through the transcendence. Does that make sense? Because, okay, to strengthen, because they're trying to slow us down, right? So then we use the elements or the occult practices or start, you know, tapping into it for the purposes of preserving ourselves, the purposes of protecting ourselves through the transcendence, the purpose of, you know, alchemizing the stuff that they're doing to us during the process. See that? Because it's still a process in the physical. Okay? Now, I'm at 35 minutes and 14 seconds. Okay, so now here's part 2. Okay, and now this part, I'm gonna try to keep it 15 minutes so that this is like a 45-minute, hour long at best. Okay, again, my apologies. I want to make I would love to make a lot more short form or shorter videos. That's just not my forte, but I'm going to try to build that skill up because people can follow shorter videos. You know, they could jive, their attention span and all that could jive with shorter videos. So, okay. I know the title says double standard. So on the side of double standard, I was on my TikTok platform today and I was talking about the double standards of those that are in the dark side of the occult. Because the occult is not bad, people. It's not a judgment. It's not an evaluation of practice. It's about what folks are doing with it. Okay? It's about what folks do with it that determines, is it of good or is it of benevolence or is it, you know, higher frequency, or is this the other stuff? Okay, so the occult, those that are abusing the occult practice, in other words, okay, they're energetically raping light beings. That's what this is. I'm going to make it plain and crystal clear. The abuse of occult practice, the abuse and misuse and mishandle of energy manipulation work, okay, is rape. It's theft. Okay, I'm just going to be crystal clear. Make that loud and clear. They target, you all hear me talk about folks like the disabled community or neurodivergent or certain ones, but the reason behind it, their rationale, we're talking about the double standard, okay? Their rationale, those that are abusers of these practices, their deduction process is they'll look at someone like my son, someone that's an invalid or a shut-in, someone that is in a wheelchair, someone that, and I'm going to tell y'all how they do it later, but they'll look at folks like that or someone even that's ill. Let's say somebody elderly or they're sick, like I said, an invalid, a shut-in, a disabled person, and they'll say to themselves, because they are understanding the world of energy, those who are masters in the occult practice. Okay? Master don't mean benevolence. Master mean they just mastered an element. The Fire Lord and the Avatar, anyway, let me get back to what I'm saying. She crazy ass. He was a narcissist. Crazy in a motherfucker. Arrogant, crazy, but that's typical, isn't it? So they deduct and go through their process as they profile and evaluate who because they're into the human sacrificing. And they evaluate based on their opinions on things. So they'll say, hey, this person is not capable of fully maximizing their potential with their energy source. We feel we will make better use of it because it's nothing being done with it here. It's just a waste of energy source. It's just a waste. It's not being realized. It's not being utilized. There's so much potential that could be had with this energy and with this access. And we feel like we should have it. And like we can make better use of it. And they'll even go as far as to say, to try to sedate and soothe those who have a conscience, because most of them don't. But to try to make it the sociopathic in them, they'll say something, we'll put a hypnosis on them. We'll put, we'll make them think this is a game. We'll do some sex characters, like the characters like the video games that they have. And, we'll, make it like, oh, this is a fun game in the sleep space. This is why they like using this place a lot. But, and then we'll have them look at this stuff online, as they're online. It's, to look for the bondage of these weird characters, like it's a game, doing stuff to them, tying them up, and we'll tickle them and like tickle, tickle, and yeah, I got you. Disgusting cunts in this world. These disgusting fucks. That's what they do, by the way. To the disabled and to those that are mentally impaired, like my son. And they take advantage of the dream space. We're most vulnerable there. Our inner child, our subconscious, and all those things. And that's what they do. That's what his relatives did. That's what his relatives do. They know who they are. I'm going to just leave it at that. Okay? For the ones that are not in, you ain't a part of it, then you already know that I'm not talking to you or about you, because you're not no way, shape, form, or fashion involved in it. But the ones who are, they know full well what the fuck I'm talking about. And what are they doing with that? They're siphoning energy. Their sexual energy, because they're not making use of it. They do that to my son every day. On his property. Delta Manor, Beaumont, Texas. Apartment 6206. That's just one, because that ain't all. Yeah. And they're hoping that so much will happen at some point that I'll explode and actually basically break their door down and come beat the bejesus out of them. That's what they want, so they can, slip into their victim mode and cry to their daddy, the commissioner or whoever the fuck that's stupid and believe the bullshit. She's this drama queen, this lady. Oh my God, I don't know what I mean. Somebody up there doing shit now. Who? I can't tell you which one at this point. I have to tap in for that, but I don't really care to. But I can tell you somebody is, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. The hypocrisy, these occults, that's their deduction. They decide. You see the arrogance yet? Anybody out there catching up to it? The arrogance, the narcissism, the entitlement. We'll make better use of this. We'll make better use. They're not doing anything with it. We can get ourselves healed. We can get some creativity on our raggedy asses. We can we can get aligned to sources. We don't have none because we're some fucking archons. For whatever reason, we are. Maybe it's because we decided this way. Maybe it's because we refused any other way. Maybe that's why our asses is reptilian. We can use this shit. We can get rich, bitch. I wanna be rich. And we could take on their persona and put ours on them. Then we can make it look like it was just something pitiful. And then at the funeral, we can stand up after we go get some touch up on our liposuction and our ass and boob jobs. And then turn at the just right angle and look back with one tear coming down our eye, bitch. And Academy Award. So we can stand up and say, we really love them so much. Put up this big, tall Empire State Building level picture, bitch, of the collective, because we really trying to memorialize them, bitch, dumbass. They feel entitled. They decide if they don't like you, then they feel like they should be able to take your energy source. If you make them mad, they feel like they should be able to take your energy source. If you break up with them, they feel like you should be able to take your energy source. If you know what I'm saying? They have a prejudice or the discriminatory nature about them, and they kind of try to make it into some kind of supreme purpose. They feel like they should be able to take your energy source. Human sacrifice, abuse of the occult practice. If they feel threatened by you, even if you are not intentionally or purposely even thinking about any of them whatsoever, you may not even know the prospective person in some cases, because it's not always about the people we know. Sometimes it's a little bit of all of it. If they feel threatened by you, oh my God, they're going to take, huh? I don't think, I want their creativity and charisma. Again, like it's a kind of grocery store. It trips me out. This flips me out. But they feel entitled. It flips me the fuck out because I cannot compute. My system doesn't allow me to compute. If the operating system does not, it's not compatible, bitch. Okay? It doesn't work. Because like, are you, what is this, the grocery store, nigga? People walking commodities, walking grocery store and shit. Ooh, I want that part. Could you give me the toll and I'll take the, I would like to order. It's disgusting. And they decide, oh, they're old anyway. They're going to die anyway. John, get yourself together, get over. They're going to die anyway. They're old. John, they're already sick. They're going to die. It's inevitable. So it's not, okay, so technically we're really not doing anything. Come on, like if you think of it in that way, like they're already terminally ill, John. So technically, you know, in this case, we could be able to feel a little bit more better because technically they don't have a shot in hell. So we're really not so much, you know, it's just, we're just helping it along the way, you know, of the inevitable. Because, you know, and we can do more greater good, you know, if you think of it, we can, you know, donate to the Cancer of America group, or we can, you know, think about all of the good that we can do if we go ahead here and let this motherfucker die. Because we'll make better use of it. It's just going to waste. They're just laying there, John. They're just laying there. There's nothing happening with it. They can't use it. We can. We can use it and make something great. They're old. They're already old. Their life is over. They've lived their lives. This is to help those of us that are still, you know, we still got much living to be had. Let's go ahead and put them out. They're miserable anyway. Come on. Let's pay. And I love this one right here. Let's pay them a kindness. This is a kindness. They're not happy. They're sick. They're miserable. They don't feel good. They ain't gonna say the part about it's in 90% because of them, but back to what I'm saying. They're sick. Let's pay them a kindness. If you had an animal that has something, you wouldn't want it to suffer, would you? You wouldn't want them to be suffering. They'll be with Jesus. Let them go home, be with the Lord. And where there was no more pain, no more sickness, no more death, no more struggle. You're doing them a kindness. This is love. This is love. They're just tormented here. So let's go ahead and perform this ritual abuse real quick. They won't feel anything. They'll be sedated. They'll be in a zombie state while we suck the life out of them as our whorish, nasty asses do. As the nasty woman disease that we're dripping with. This applies to the men too, by the way. So don't get it twisted. They're just as nasty if it applies. Because I did get some information about some fat dudes doing shit to my son. So don't think for one moment I'm just driving in hard on ladies or women. A lot of these motherfuckers are men. A bunch of distorted pussies. Pussy ass dudes. And sometimes they have sexual, their sexual identity is questionable. And I'm not against, so before somebody try to come for me ever, you're not coming for the right person. I'm liberal. I'm not the one being judgy Judson around these here parts. I'm not the one walking around waving nothing. That's them. That's them. Judging everybody and shit while not properly able to judge themselves. I don't have nothing against people's sexuality. I understand that sexuality is often a result of our trauma too. I know these things, but at the end of the day, there shouldn't be anybody that's trying to dictate to anybody out there about their sexual preference and choices. Hopefully and ideally, if we are adults and of a certain age, we're becoming mindful and responsible about that and being fair to everybody about it. So this is no way means a slight on people's sexuality. But just because somebody may have a different, non-traditional sexuality, that doesn't get them off the hook. If they toxic and crazy and fucked up, they still toxic and crazy and fucked up. They don't get a pass ticket because they just so happen to be a part of one of these demographics. To me, my inclination is almost wanting to make it even harder on them. Because when you come from a demographic that has been targeted and abused and mistreated, you should have some fucking sense. They didn't like the idea of being treated like they were animals or less than. Why the fuck would you get into some shit where you're violating somebody else? Idiotic. That's why it trips me out about my people. When I say my people, coloreds. Whatever you want to call it, bitch. I don't know. That's what trips me out. how they end up on this side of it in the occult. It trips me out. It's like, nigga, did you, nigga? So they done turned into nothing but a bunch of house slaves. When your people hung and you out here abusing the occult practices on your own kind, you are a disgrace. Because you want to be a fashion witch. Could you be one without killing people and shit? Is that a possibility? Huh? People be into this monopoly. You know, I don't want to, I'm getting off track in terms of like economics, what I learned. I think I learned it in, what's that? Which one was it? Ugh. It was one of them when I was at college. And they talk about monopoly. And I really feel like that's what happens to a lot of people. They're still coming from that fear base, which makes you want to do what? Try to secure and monopolize, which means what? Then you get into some of the other things because you have this driving force. You have this thing that says, I have to. I must. If I want to stay successful, if I want to stay on top, if I want to stay relevant, and if I want to keep the cash within, and then I gotta kill people, bitch. That's just the name of the game. Survival of the fittest. So where's that programming coming from? See, that's something nobody gonna ever really want to talk about because it requires too much looking into oneself. Because where did that come from? Who told you that? Who told them that? Who told us that? Where does that come from? As the only way. Because it's not the only way, but that's another video too. Back to the topic. They choose. This is how they choose. They go down a list, and each perspective group, subgroup, whatever, and then there's the sacrifice, there's the scapegoat. Even if this is all done in secret, even if it's the best case CIA classified, zipped, tucked, you know, whatever, that's what's done. And they'll, like I said, they'll reason about that to determine it. They objectify those beings. They do not take into account those beings whatsoever. Like I said, narcissism, because narcissism don't. Narcissism is all objectified, transactional goods and services. There is no connecting whatsoever to the effect on the being that is being, that people are deciding to play God on something that is theirs. That's the irony about it. Something that's actually theirs. Now, let's fast forward. So this is how they're able to go to sleep at night. This is how they're able to go to church on Sunday and say, bless the Lord, for those that are into the religious sector. This is how they're able to get their Bibles and their crosses and their you know, rosaries and, you know, Jesus bumper stickers. And, you know, this is how, with this whole reasoning process, they're able to be delusional about who they are and what they're conducting. Okay? And they're real proud about all that. They feel justified. They feel like this is a good decision. This is good. Some of them actually even believe it's wisdom. I don't ask me where and how they believe it is, but they do. Okay? They believe it's wisdom. Okay, it's wisdom to do this. It's wisdom to try to kill this lady and her disabled son because it is. It's wisdom to try to poison them and harass them and circle them and do all of it. It's wisdom. Yes, it is. It's wisdom. Why is it wisdom? Because we think they're bad, and we think they're evil, and we think, okay, and why do you think that? Because so and so said, and the Bible said, and what they do. Okay, and what else did the Bible tell you, motherfucker? Since you want to reference it so bad. Oh, mind your business. Ebonics layman's terms. Your own salvation with fear and trembling, that it don't exist, but it does say that, yes. Does it not? I don't think it said anything in the scripture that you're supposed to be poisoning people. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it says that y'all supposed to be stalking people and shit, though. I don't know if that's a part of the thing. You tell people supposed to turn up to the Lord. That ain't no putting it on the altar. Because if this person, you're saying you don't like them, what they do, but are they a killer like you? Are they a murderer? Are they somebody out here violating little girls, little boys? And are they, you know, because give us more of a reason. There's got to be something a little bit more grounded than that. They can't provide that because it doesn't exist. They try to manufacture it by abuse. And when the person has a reaction and response, then they want to go, see, we said they're drama. And most people are too surface to be able to think any further, any deeper. The double standard is this. So they all make their decisions. They got the monopoly. They got their list, and they basically destroy lives. Either they take these people out, or they make the conditions and their standard of life horrific, so that they can harness as much of their energy as they possibly can for as long as they can. In that capacity, which is why they do the torture program and create these impoverished, restricted, limited situations so that they can do it. The target won't know what's happening. They'll just think they're tired and end up sleeping and thinking that that's what it is, and it's not. You're more susceptible. A lot of occult practices or more, could do more with that. That's why the target will often wake up feeling a certain kind of way, because they were doing magic. And then the target gets to a point where they'll cover themselves the way they can, but whatever still gets through, then they'll get up and they'll be guided once they reach a certain place, and it'll be cleared. This is what's frustrating to these folks. Because they do all that. They sit up, do drugs, and drink, and fuck, and whatever else the fuck they do. You know what I'm saying? All night, stay up pills so that they can wait until these folks are asleep so they can sit up and be weird. And that's what they're doing to my son and me and many others. And the reason why people are so motivated is because they're giving people cars as gifts. As simple as that, motherfuckers. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Cancel and delete. Sorry, right. They're giving people cars as gifts, nigga. People who don't got jobs, don't barely got an income, and I ain't clowning that kind of shit. Okay? I'm from the hood. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those, and I'm not from the hood, and then all of a sudden became fake bougie. That ain't my vibe. That's the mother ones, baby. All of a sudden, too good, bitch, nigga, please, nigga, your ass is from an IE motherfucker. Don't fuck with me. Fuck with me. By the way, collective ain't lonely. We actually know how to stand alone. It's the karmics that actually are that. And let me explain that real quick as to why. If you pay closer and closer attention, they can't do shit without sending each other group texts. They don't know how to stand alone in their own fucking energy. We are speaking, the things we're speaking not out of loneliness, dear, that's ignorance, correction. We are speaking the things because it needs to be said, because of the abuse and the atrocities that many out there are operating in, pretending to not do so, because of people tampering in the lives of the collective. It ain't about us being lonely. It's about people manipulating our lives and relationships, going behind our backs, sucking and fucking and jiving, and spell casting and lying. So correction. We actually know how to be alone. If only people can leave us the fuck alone. That's another ball game. Now back to the topic. Yes, I said that for another fellow Capricorn. Correction. So these are the people, they abuse the occult. These are also people who will even, go from the occult to even just physical resources, because it's still based in the roots of that entitlement. We believe we will make better use of. It's still coming from that place, whether that is a check, an inheritance, a gift, or house, or anything, including the one's energy through the occult practices. Somebody's going to say, well, okay, you're explaining that over and over again. How is that a double standard? How is it a double standard? Okay, so when I was on my TikTok live, I talked about how I gave a physical example because these folks are materialistic. And that's what gets their attention more than anything else. I guarantee it. Even over their relationships, what gets their attention more than anything else is the material world, the materialism. So I gave the example of they have a boat. They have several boats. Okay, and that they're wealthy, or they have a lot of money, and they have properties and things of that nature. They have several boats, and they have a place in which they keep it, and they have, their prize boat. And let's say they went on a vacation, or they went away, and that you or someone was eyeballing them before all of that, was patterning their behavior, was patterning how often they used a boat, okay, to see if this was something that they was making good use of, that they even cared for, that they even had the ability to use. So let's say that you patterned all that, you evaluated them much the way they've evaluated you all, or they evaluate others to decide what to take. And let's say out of that process you do it, And you wait to the opportune moment that you know that they'll be vulnerable or that they're gone, and that you figured out some kind of a way to break past all systems without being caught. Okay, and you decide, and you and your group and your people, you, when they're gone, you take one, not all, you take one of the boats, the boat in which you want it. You take the boat, they return from their vacation to discover that that boat that could have been their favorite, that boat is missing, but they don't have any forced entry there. There's nothing that showed up on the camera. There's nothing they can find. They can't trace it. Nobody around would say anything. Everybody is claiming that they didn't see anybody. They don't know. Just nothing. For whatever reason, it bypassed all their shit. And it's just gone. Almost as if it just disappeared out of thin air. They contact their insurance company. They contact their police friend. They contact, you know what I'm saying? They do all the pull they got there to pull them in and go, hey, my boat is gone. And they talking to all of them, and they're going, okay, well, what do you have? And we don't have this. Okay, so who did? And so I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't have any proof, but I have a boat and it's not here. I have more than one. One of them is gone. It can't just disappear out of thin air. Explain why the boat's not here. The people are going to say, well, we can't explain that, sir. We can't explain that, friend. We can't explain that. We just know that there's nothing here to work with. Then that same person, because of their attitude, that entitlement, that grandiose, okay, they're ready to get a million nigga march. They're ready to, you know what I'm saying, get Johnny Carter out, Shartar, you know, all the people's, you know what I'm saying? They're ready to turn this into a whole shit. Because somebody stole their goddamn boat. They're ready to execute some action on somebody, some criminal action on somebody that they even suspect, because they're like, you know, I am a white, I am don't they know we are the Obamas 2.0? We're the Kennedys of Texas. I am a white woman. Don't they know? That comes from White Chicks, by the way. I think that was White Chicks. So they feel some kind of way. They're livid. They'll be livid at the fact that somebody came in there and it slipped their radar when they were vulnerable, when they were gone, that someone felt entitled to go in there and steal their damn boat. And in their case, they have 3 replacement boats. They can still enjoy boating and all those things. So it's just, they still feel like this is my boat, and who is to determine if I deserve my boat or not? Who has the right to determine if I'm making good use of my boat or not? Who has the right to be sitting there evaluating something that belongs to me? And deciding that that's something that they should have. Who has the right to come in here and take my boat? I'm going to raise up a ruckus because they done took my boat. We need to make a purpose and start a revolution because these motherfuckers came in here and stole my boat. Sit with that for a minute. Because these are the people who are into the occult practices or hiring people who are, one way or the other. Sit with that. They're livid. They're enraged about theft of a goddamn boat that loses its value. It depreciates with time, just like a car. Maybe not exactly, depending on the upkeep and any modifications and all that, but nonetheless, it depreciates. You can replace that. You cannot replace your chi and your life force energy. You cannot replace somebody's life. You can't go to the store. You can go to the boat store. You can't go pick another you out of the closet. And yet, that narcissism, that sociopathy, psychopathy, grandiose, makes this go right over their head. They feel justified in being livid behind any violation to their belongings. And it does not matter if they have a shit ton of it. It doesn't matter if they have 12 votes. They feel some kind of way. However, they've intruded on the collective's mind, body, and soul and their material world. In real time. That's a double standard to call themselves being on some kind of moral high ground when they're the most immoral motherfuckers walking. To call themselves wanting to be stringent to the letter of the law when they're the top tier criminal themselves. When somebody steals a little trashy ass toy. Does not human being and life have more weight and value? It's in a damn book that they pretend to know and read. Isn't your life more valuable than that of... Yeah, they love saying it, bitch. But they having a bitch fit behind a toy, but they feel entitled to taking someone else's life, getting life insurance policies and doing all sorts of weird shit to try to get attorney over people. Yet they say they're a good person. And have the audacity to then say that the collective, like myself, as we speak intelligently about it, have the audacity to say we're bitches because we don't want to lay down and be victimized and used as some kind of a battery system for low-life fucking reptilians or anybody for that matter. Our energy is ours. And it's for us. Just like their trashy boat is theirs. Violating people. We are, listen up, world. The hypocrisy, the double standards, the abuse of the occult practices, all of this. We are our own. I said this a couple years ago about people's jobs. Yes, I know they're in my energy. That's why they head hurting, possibly as I speak. Possibly have a headache. I said this years ago and a couple years ago about like even people with jobs. Like you work hard at a job, you get a paycheck. You know, there's an expectation. You show up at a job, you perform a job. There's a contract made. You get a certain amount of money ever so often, and that's understood. It's not something that needs to be over-explained. It's basic, it's understood, and everybody basically understands that notion. You show up here, you do this function, you get the money. You don't show up and do the function and someone else get the money. Unless you're getting garnish here, you know, don't go there. You got garnish here because you got in the rears and shit from child support, you know, things like that. But the basics is that without that variable there, under normal circumstance, You go somewhere, you work a function, and you get the check. You don't go and someone else is collecting. And that's why I say this should be understood and understood about all of this, including the occult, including energy work, including everything. If you're putting in the work of anything, that is your fruit, not some wannabe that's got, but some spoiled, pretentious cunt and fuck. The collective have put, I know I hate saying the word work, but it's investment. The investment into themselves, the investment into their development, the investment into transmutation, whatever you want to call it. So the fruit is theirs. All karmic energy, let me give you to it. I'm going to give it to you straight. The only thing karmic energy want with it is for more bullshit. Simple as that. Consumption. More bullshit. Shop, eat, fuck. And to look like they're the shit. To look like they're decent. By the way, there's nothing wrong with shopping, eating, fucking. All I'm saying is that's the real about it. They don't care nothing about shit. They don't care about no real cause. They care about the pretend cause because that pretend cause gets them the money, bitch. They don't care about shit. They don't care about nobody. They ain't trying to help. They're using all of their occult practices on bullshit when they should be using their goddamn occult practices on these fucking weirdos out here in these here streets. But they can't manage to muster up enough fucking power. That trips me out every day. That people with all of this stuff, I was like, you can't get these killers, nigga? You mean you can't find this motherfucker? I thought y'all had the baddest witches in town. How come you can't get that motherfucker? Can't do shit. How come y'all can't get your police friend some help to go get these motherfuckers? Up here raping people and shit, violating disabled people. Shit, could you do something worth doing? For 5 fucking minutes. Something outside of your insatiable, gluttonous ass. Can you do something? Past the fake save religiosity shit. Can you do something for 5 minutes? That ain't got nothing to do with what you gonna get. Can you do something for 5 minutes that ain't got shit to do with this materialism? Oh, can you help the people out here that really need the help without needing something in it? The young girl, the young boy that's been abducted because they ain't got the resources, they ain't no profile, nobody don't give a fuck. And then the answer is, we don't have enough manpower. Lying hoes. We got plenty of manpower because, listen, I got a good 1,000 that follow me. So that's bogus. Because they ready. They on cue right now, bitch. Right now, eating potato chips. They ain't got no manpower. They ain't got enough resources. There's limited resources. How is that possible? Because they're funding these things. I don't understand that. How is that possible? They sure got plenty enough time to watch me, which means they can get their happy ass out there and look for some real criminals. There's nothing they can do though. So back to what I'm saying. Let's wrap her up. What am I? And yes, I wrap her up. Gotta go. So that's, I have to talk about things or try to explain it in this way because, folks, a lot of people can equate to material exampleship. Because these abusers, these are the people, like I say it all the time, they would have a bitch fit. This is why it shocks me that they have the audacity to call us a bitch. If them and their children was in this seat, they would not be sitting anywhere quietly. They would not be docile. I can guarantee you, like I said, they'll be ready to start some kind of revolution. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Cochran's, and they'll be calling Tyrone, Pookie, Shaquan, Shanae, that nigga Ray Ray, that nigga. They'll be all on everywhere if this was something of importance and value to them, even down to something dumb as a vote. But certainly, if somebody was coming for their life, could you imagine what they would do in that case? If somebody was actually coming to compromise their fucking health and their well-being and that of their children, they ain't gonna fuck the rules, nigga. The rules? The rules? They ain't gonna be relying on no judicial system because the judicial system ain't doing shit. But a bunch of bureaucracy, bullshit, circle around nothingness. You rely on that, you're liable to end up unalivened. You rely on that. Because some of them times they gaslighting you too. Because they get a cut. However, it's another thing coming. Every last one of them pays in full. Because a part of the power is the secrecy, and I can tell you this right now, ain't none of it secret no more, baby.